Hey everyone, today we're going to go over a beginner version of With or Without You by U2. We'll go through the chords used throughout the song so that we're familiar and comfortable playing them, and then move into how the song is played. Now, the best thing to do before you start playing guitar is to be sure that your guitar is in tune. I suggest you use a digital tuner so that you can get your guitar in perfect tuning. Today's song is actually played in standard tuning. Another good thing to do before you start playing is to make sure your fingernails are cut nice and short. What this will do is this will help you avoid any unnecessary muting or buzzing of the strings, and it'll make it easier for you to press your fingers down onto the frets. Another thing what we're going to do is we're going to number our fingers so that when I describe to you which fingers to put where to form a chord, you'll know exactly what I mean. So finger number 1 is our index finger, finger number 2, middle finger number 3 is our ring finger, and then finger number 4 is going to be our pinky. Now let's move into the chords used throughout the song. Okay, so this song is comprised of 4 different chords. The first one is going to be a D. Now we're going to go into this in detail in just 1 second. We're going to do an A suspend 4. Now the next one is a B chord, but because a B is quite difficult to play, what I've done is I've formulated a different way to play this B so that for beginners it's quite easy and you only have to move 1 finger. So this one is actually called a B minor 11th, and it's played like this. Now don't worry, we're going to go into this in detail in just 1 minute. And then the fourth one is a 4-finger G. Okay, so now let's go into detail into the first one, which is the D chord.
The next chord, D, uses only 3 fingers.
Okay, so the D chord uses 3 fingers, fingers number 1, 2, and 3. What we're going to do is finger number 1 is going to go here onto the 2nd fret of the G string. Okay, finger number 2 is going to come down here onto the 2nd fret of the high E string. And then finger number 3 is going to come down here onto the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay? And our D chord should sound like this. Now as you can see, my thumb up here is just touching the big E string so that we don't actually play that, because the E string is not actually played in this chord. So we're basically only hitting the 5 strings here. Okay? So just these ones. We're not hitting this one. You hear that buzzing sound? So when we play that, we won't hear that buzzing sound. Okay? Now move on to the next chord, which is the A suspend 4.
A suspend 4 is a variation of the original A chord, and he also uses 3 fingers.
Okay, so the A suspend 4 also uses fingers number 1, 2, and 3. Now the good thing about the A suspend 4 and the way this song goes is that we can keep finger number 3 down here onto the 3rd fret of the B string, because it's going to be perfectly in place to form our next chord. So the next chord, we're going to use finger number 1. It's going to go onto the 2nd fret of the D string. Okay? Finger number 2, it's going to go right below it on the 2nd fret of the G string. And finger number 3, like we said, is going to stay right where it was for the D chord on the 3rd fret on the B string. So, it should sound like this. Again, we're only playing the bottom 5 strings and not playing the big E string. That's why my thumb is up here, just to touch it just a little bit to mute it out. Like so. Okay? Now the next chord we're going to learn is that B minor 11th.
The B minor 11th chord is a non-bar chord variation of the original B chord.
Now like I said, the reason I chose the B minor 11 because this chord, the regular B chord, is actually quite difficult to play. And playing this B minor 11 during the song actually really sounds great. And for beginners, it's very simple to use because from our A suspend 4 formation right here, all we have to do is move 1 finger. We take finger number 1 off of the 2nd fret of the D string and we move it to the 2nd fret of the A string, which is the B note. And again, we don't play this string up here, the big E, and the B minor 11th should sound like this. Really nice sounding chord. And it fits perfectly into With or Without You. Okay? So again, finger number 1 is going to be onto the 2nd fret on the A string. Finger number 2 is going to be exactly where it was on the A suspend 4 chord, which is on the 2nd fret of the G string. And then finger number 3 is going to be down here where it was for the first D chord and the A suspend 4, which is on the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay? And we're going to play all all 5 strings again, and if you can, try and mute out that big E string because we don't want to play that one. Okay? And that's how it should sound. Now the last chord we're going to use is a really familiar one, and it's called the 4-finger G.
The next chord is a G major, or what I like to call a 4-finger G, where all 4 fingers are used.
Alright, so the 4-finger G, of course, uses all 4 fingers. So what we're going to do is finger number 1 is going to stay exactly where it was on that 2nd fret of the A string. This is why this is a great way to play this song. Finger number 2 is going to come down here onto the 3rd fret of the big E. Okay? And then finger number 3 and 4 are going to be placed on the B and the high E on the 3rd fret. And then it should sound like this. Okay? Now you notice throughout the entire song, finger number 3 never leaves. It's always on that 3rd fret of the B string, which makes this perfect for beginners. Okay? Now let's move into how the song is played. Alright, now let's get started. Now the other good thing about With or Without You is there's only one chord progression. He doesn't really change throughout the entire song. Okay? So basically we're going to have our D chord, then our A suspend 4 chord, then our B minor 11th chord, and then our 4-finger G. Okay? So in regular time it'll sound like this. Okay? Now, what we'll do is we're going to go through that nice and slow together. And once we learn that, that's the whole song. You've got it. Okay? So again, it's a D chord. And then finger number 3 stays there for the whole song. You never move it. Then we take our finger number 1 and 2 and we place them up here onto the D and G string to give us our A suspend 4. Okay? Then fingers number 2 and 3 stay put. Finger number 1 comes up and goes onto the 2nd fret of the A string. Okay? And then finger number 3 and 1 stay put, like so. This one comes up. And we're going to come up here, put that down onto the 3rd fret of the big E string, finger number 2 that is. And then finger number 4 is going to come down here for the first time in the song and go onto the 3rd fret of the high E string. Okay? So on the count of 3, we'll go in, we'll do this nice and slow together. And it's all downstrokes, so you don't really have to worry too much about strumming. Okay? You can put an upstroke in when you switch your chords, and that sounds okay. But if you want to just do downstrokes, it'll sound great. Okay? Here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. To the A suspend 4. The B minor 11, to the G 4-finger, back to the D, to the A suspend 4, to the B minor 11, and then finish off on the G. And he just continuously does that. So I'll play it one more time in regular time so that you know what you want it to sound like when you're done, and then that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so it goes like this. Alright guys, don't forget to practice that, and good luck. Hey everyone, great job learning With or Without You by YouTube. This version's a really simple version and it's perfect for beginners. Now if you enjoyed this video and it helped you, don't forget to check out the rest of our videos here on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for watching guys, and good luck.